What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Living Electric. We're back after our month hiatus. Took a little time to recharge, pardon the pun, but it's true. And we were both getting kind of worn down with just everything going on, needed a little break, but we're back now and excited as ever.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if I remember how to podcast, so we'll see.
So bear with us.
I've been literally thinking of that line all day today. I'm like, what's some type of like lame joke I could say? But no, it's good to be back. I mean, like, I feel like the time off really gave us a chance to catch up on things. I know that we've been extremely busy
Definitely.
outside of Living Electric, so it feels good to be back. I'm happy to talk about things again.
For sure. And one thing before we start, this episode should come out on Monday before Election Day. So if you haven't made a plan to vote or voted early or anything like that, please try to do that. This is a pretty big election, and especially on the local level, like, look into candidates that are running. Like, that's really where a lot of the change happens, is on the local level. I know we oftentimes get distracted by the high level politicians and stuff, but locally is really where you can make an impact. So there's my little citizen plug to start.
No, that's it. That's a good plug. I mean, change comes with policy. So especially with EVs, if we can get people who represent EVs in a very positive way, and, push that, especially on a local level, that's just going to be beneficial for everybody. So
Definitely.
Go out and vote.
Yep. So today's topic, some exciting personal news, actually. My fiance and I just bought a house. So we are going through that process for the first time. Very overwhelming, very stressful. Part of the reason we actually had to take this break was just going through all the house stuff, because it's my first time and I don't know what I'm doing. So
Yes,
a lot I had to learn and study up on and make sure we're doing things the right way. So, but we bought a house. It's really cool. I wish I could show everybody, but I don't want to dox myself. But bottom line is it's an older house with a detached garage, which I think Brandon and I are in very similar situations, where we have a detached garage where we store our cars for the most part. And obviously that complicates kind of the home charging setup when you don't have a garage that's attached to your main electrical panel. And setting your home up for an EV can get increasingly more difficult the farther away you go from that main electrical panel, which I know you ran into just with your current house, right?
Yeah, that's exactly the reason why we just installed the charger directly on the side of our house versus, the detached garage that's like 25 to 30 feet away, because It was pricey based on what they were quoting us.
And you're lucky, though, that your driveway runs like right past your house, so it's kind of more convenient to put it there almost, because your car's driving right past there anyway, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, especially in the winter time, it would be nice to have like the charger in the garage, but yeah, it kind of works out at the moment.
Right. So our house is set up differently, where we actually don't have a driveway, which is kind of weird. So I don't know if I've even told you this, Brandon, but we have a city-owned alleyway that is next to our house. Like the little paved, it looks like a driveway. It's like a paved road that runs right next to our garage. That's actually not owned by us. That's owned by the city, and it actually connects to somebody else. But bottom line, that doesn't go past our house. It's kind of on the other side of our property than the house is. And that's what connects to the 2-car garage. In the past, they had a 30 amp circuit, which, if you don't know what that means, that's basically like enough to power 2 outlets, like run basically across the yard underground. And then they actually had to take it up above ground and ran it like on this steel structure across to the top of the garage, and then it goes down into an electrical panel in the garage. So like this weird kind of underground, above ground scenario to get the power into the garage. The other nice part about the house is it's got like this beautiful like garden throughout the whole thing. There's all kinds of plants. It's tons of stuff's growing in there, but unfortunately like a tree has grown so big that it's taken over where that wire was running. So
oh no.
Yeah, not very safe to have like live wires, that especially if you're trying to charge a car or something like that running above there.
Yeah.
So bottom line, we needed new power run to our garage to power anything in the garage. We could keep using that circuit, but definitely not the safest way to do it. So started looking into options and figuring out what to do there, and I decided more than Mallory, because I'm the electrical nerd in the relationship. We basically needed to run new electrical out to our garage, so we were trying to figure out what to do there. And if you aren't familiar with electrical work at all, the main two drivers of cost are the distance, so like how far are you actually running the wire, or the conduit in this case, and what size wire you're doing, because as soon as you make the wire bigger, that multiplies by how many feet you're doing, right? So It can quickly add to the budget. So I kind of decided, like, I guess, like, what do you think? What would you do in that situation, Brandon? If you're like, my garage needs new power, like, what would you what would you think?
I would hope for a random windstorm to knock down the garage and then build it closer to the house.
There you go.
Yeah, no, because that's what I'm hoping for our garage.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I would try to like evaluate like what. Maybe not by going by the bare minimum. I feel like in this instance, you kind of want to meet in the middle instead of like going over the top. Like if you meet in the middle and you start the project and realize you need a little bit more wiggle room, at least you expected that. But it's kind of tough to say because I don't have that background either.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So you're exactly right. We kind of had two options. It's, do we just replace the existing wire that's going out there? Probably the lower cost option, just total project cost to do that. But because we've got to tear up the yard, generally it's better if you want to like quote unquote future proof, which I hate that term because it's such a like backwards like term of how to do things, because like future proofing is almost never like financially worth it. But that's kind of what we're doing in this case. Is we had to tear up the yard already. We knew we were going to have to trench across the entire yard to put in conduit. I'm using a lot of industry terms here, I've realized, but like trenching is basically digging a little like a path for the wire to go. The conduit is just what the wire goes in, so it's kind of weather sealed. We had to do both of those things already, so we've basically decided to put enough for a 100 amp sub panel to go in our garage. So instead of just running a single wire out there, we're basically running enough to power a whole new electrical panel in our garage off of our main panel that's in the basement. So
wow.
Yeah. So definitely like you said, you don't want to go overboard, but I'm like, I was kind of doing the math. I'm like, if we have one EV charger, eventually get a second car, like 100 amps will be more than enough to handle two cars charging there, is basically kind of what I wanted to build it for. And if I'm like, personally, if I'm testing a charger and I need more power, like I want to basically have it ready for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our other thought was too, I think we could probably do this, but I mean, power could go both directions, right? So if eventually we added maybe solar on our garage, we could then use that same wire to push power back to the house and like set up some sort of scenario like that. So I'm like, since we're going to have the yard torn up anyway, like let's just put anything we may need in there now, and then we can worry about like anything we want to do with it later. At least the like capacity is there to do what we need to do. So it's still in process right now. I think the guy's coming again next this Saturday to kind of finish some things up, get the new panel wired and all that stuff. But I mean, basically this is kind of worst case scenario when it comes to upgrading your house for an EV, right? I'm probably spending like more than you would need to get just a charger ready. But granted, we're kind of starting like a step back because there wasn't proper electrical run of the garage in the first place. So
yeah.
Any idea what that would cost, you think, Brandon?
Well, so I'm just going to go based off of my experience, when we were planning on like where we were going to put our charging station, but also the economy was in a totally different like point back then, but it was still going to be about $2,000 to dig up the yard and then, run the wiring to our detached garage. So, and that was only for one charger. So, and that wasn't like doing any improvements because we already had, room on our existing breaker. So I don't know, $5,000. Well, wait. Let me actually ask you this: do you have to remove the tree as well? Like, do you have to dig
No.
that up and get? Okay, I'm gonna say 5,000. Final answer.
You hit it exactly, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what the guy is charging us. So
What do I win? I feel like I need like a bell or something like.
Yeah, you get to charge your car when you visit.
Yes. I'll leave a good review on Yelp.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Wow,
So
5,000.
Yeah, you nailed it. So again, the main driver of the cost is we're running basically like 100 some feet worth of cable from our electrical panel out to our garage. So that's really what the main expense is coming from. We looked at doing a couple of other things too, where like, could we just I even thought about like pulling a new utility service, like just getting a new meter plugged in there instead of trying to run it from our panel.
Yeah.
But the closest pole is like even farther away. So it's like, you don't know what the utility is going to cover in that case.
Yeah.
So all in all, I was kind of like, let's just bite it now. We're already spending a bunch to get the house kind of like up to what we want and buy new furniture and all this stuff. Like this is kind of the money saving phase of, or money spending phase of home ownership. So
Yep.
We're like, let's just get it done now. So
Yeah.
not money I wanted to spend, but I think in the long run, it's going to be good. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's smart that you guys are doing it right now, especially because you guys already have an EV, and I'm assuming, there's a second one coming.
Right.
So
right.
it's good to be prepared, because when we bought our house, I had the Volt, which I could plug off of like a 110, so it's like a level 2 charger wasn't necessary.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, it really just goes to show you that every situation is going to be different depending on how much it might cost, like, the homeowner.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, especially if you're improving like an older house, like if you have to do work to make it more modern and like, equipped in a modern way, it's going to be a lot more money than if your house is like new.
Yeah. That is the one kind of like, I guess, saving grace of this whole thing. And one thing I was looking for as we were looking for houses is like, how new is the electrical? Because if we have to upgrade a whole electrical panel, like that's where the big expense comes in. Because the panel alone can be a couple thousand. So like that can be really expensive. Luckily, they had just redone all the electrical in the house like before we bought it. So brand new 200 amp panel, like brand new actual utility service that came into the house was all redone.
Wow.
Like all of that was new, which was good.
Yeah, that we got lucky in that aspect too. Like they rewired the entire house before we bought it. So yeah, because that can be expensive too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, that's
mini home buying advice, I guess. If you do have an EV and you're looking for a new home, those are some of the things to look for, like to hopefully save yourself some money up front. Is like, I think we'll definitely see in the future is like more homes will just be EV ready. Like I know Columbus actually just passed like an ordinance where if you build a new house, it has to have like the proper circuit ran into the garage at least. You don't have to install a charger, but like at least have the make ready work. So it's like the person just has to wire it up, basically.
Yeah, I think the UK just passed that law too. I think last year, like any new homes have to be ready for an EV.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is smart, honestly. I mean, that's like I was just saying, like that is where the big expense comes, is getting it ready to install the charger. Somebody showing up to your house and hooking up the wires is not the expensive part.
Yeah. Wow.
So
man,
now I'm on the hunt for a home charger. So any suggestions there? I know we hashed this out in a previous episode, but I'm curious if you're.
Well, I'm actually searching for one as well. So because
really, okay,
now that we're getting a bunch of press cars, we need a way to track our electricity.
Oh yeah.
So we're trying to figure out some good charging or like chargers that like can provide like reporting on how much electricity we're using to fuel these vehicles.
Yeah.
So I've looked at the NLX juice box. I really like that one. The Wallbox Pulsar Plus, I believe that's their level 2, is really nice in terms of reporting. And then I was looking at I think it's called the Altus, the Atlas. I'm not sure. I'm going to see if I can find it. I've seen like a bunch of advertisements about it, but let me see. Sorry, I'm totally hijacking our episode right now.
You're good. I think I know which company you're talking about, though. I think it's Altus or something like that.
Yeah, I'm failing right now. I'll find it after we record. But it seems to be one of the most affordable networked level 2 home charger that you can purchase.
Gotcha.
And then the other one I was looking at was the universal Tesla wall connector that they just came out with.
Yeah.
But I can't find anything on Tesla's website to say what it provides in terms of reporting for usage. You know, so
yeah, I'm not sure. I actually did some research on that as well because I was thinking about getting a Tesla with the Tesla plug and then a Tesla one with the J plug because with those you can actually load balance them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So you can hook them both up to a panel and say, hey, between these two chargers, I don't want them going over X amount of amps because they'll blow my panel up. So so you can set it to basically throttle between the cars to make sure that they're not it's not pulling too much power, which I thought was pretty cool. Because I'll definitely have to do that if we have two cars charging, make sure they don't both ramp all the way up and then cause some problems. So
I do have a question for you because I'm assuming the Lightning is coming eventually.
Yes.
Are you guys prepping the house to have it be where you can power your house with the Lightning? Like, is that some of the equipment you guys are installing? Because I know there's like extra things you need to do there.
Yeah, like if we end up doing any kind of backup home stuff, like we'll definitely need to do even more work to the house. So ideally that's something we can do. With this kind of thing we just hooked up is making sure that's we can still use that wire to basically hook the car into somehow and then push power back to the house, also maybe charge another car, like stuff like that. But yeah, you're going to end up needing more equipment. That's probably going to still be another like $10,000 to add all that stuff. So I mean, it gets out of hand quick is the thing. Is like I love the fact that this is the direction we're going, but I don't think a lot of people realize just how much equipment is necessary to even like get your home ready for some of this stuff, let alone the equipment itself. So
yeah. Like it definitely seems like it's like a good thought, but I don't think it's being explained properly to drivers. Like I think so many people just assume you can just be like, oh, it's plugged in. Why isn't my house turning back on? Like yeah. Because we experienced that with the EV6, the V2L adapter. I thought that it could handle more, and we plugged in an air fryer and a toaster, and it tripped. And I was like, man, that toaster is pulling a lot of power. So yeah.
It's probably because a toaster is it's probably 100% efficient. It takes the full 12 amps or whatever and turns it directly into heat. So
according to the EV6, it was pulling 2 kilowatts, which blew my mind.
Yeah. You would have.
And then the air fryer was like 1.4. I'm like, wow, the air fryer is way more efficient. I could cook a whole meal with this versus bread. So
right.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Blew my mind. But no, I'm excited for you guys. I mean, like you guys are definitely preparing yourself for the electric future, and it's really cool to kind of see the juxtaposition between like an older home and like bringing it into the future. Like that's what we're doing with our house as well. Like just trying to modernize it as much as possible.
Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right. We're trying to kind of toe that line between like keeping the character of the old house, but also making sure it has all the modern amenities. So I'm actually, because we're going to be obviously like, the walls behind me are pretty bare, but I want to build out like a more formal studio space. So I actually have a good background behind me and everything. So I'm looking for like carpet tiles right now because we have like hardwood floor, and I'm like my office or my studio / office is going to look like such a like office compared to the rest of the house. So I'm trying to like at least keep some character to it and make it interesting, but that's been a struggle. So.
Well, that's the best part of home ownership is making it something that fits, your personality as well as Mallory's personality, and just making it your own. That's what I love about it.
We have separate rooms for our stuff.
Well, you see how Tyler's in my office are.
Right.
Mine's filled with crap, and Tyler's is good. It's nice and clean.
Right.
So I do actually have a question for you before we wrap up. I'm actually not sure how long we've been recording, but so when it comes to like how I mentioned earlier that this really goes to show how different situations are different in terms of like what you might need to install like a charging station. And $5,000 is obviously a lot of money. Do you have any advice from your, like your engineering background to provide to somebody who might be in like the similar situation, like if they have questions or, looking for some type of advice?
Yeah, so I mean, I think like everything else, you kind of want to know what you're getting into ahead of time. So my advice to most people is like, see if you could actually get away with not even upgrading anything. Like, I've been using a level 1, like just plug in the wall, like like using my mobile charger for my Tesla for the past over a year now, and that's been fine. Like, there's been a couple cases where it's like, oh, we've got to stop at the fast charger for a few minutes before we head out on our trip, but those cases have been like few and far between. So if you're okay with putting up with that every once in a while and don't want like the full convenience of home charging, then you can definitely do it. Even in my case, like there is a charge point station literally like within walking distance of our new house. So like if I really didn't want to spend the money, I could get away with just going over there every once in a while if I needed to charge up a little bit faster and just plug into the wall outlet. So there are certainly like other options, and you don't need to go like full blown like electrical upgrade like I'm doing here. Like I am definitely taking it to the extreme, but there's a reason for that. Like I test like Brandon, I test cars. I want to see different, I eventually want to get into testing home chargers. So I want to have a place where I can wire them up and test them and see how they perform and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what I'm setting up for. I'm definitely not the normal EV driver in that case. So, that'd probably be my main advice. And then, I mean, also like, if, as we've said before, like if an EV truly doesn't fit your lifestyle, it may just not be the right time. Like you may eventually buy a house or have a situation where home charging makes a lot more sense. So I definitely like just be smart about it. And like, it's definitely still got to fit your lifestyle and fit your driving more than anything, or else it's not going to be a good experience. So I think we're both realistic in that fact is like, hey, if it doesn't fit your lifestyle, it doesn't, but I think it's still worth giving it a shot.
Yeah. Can I give a piece of advice? Because I think all of that was really good. I just want to say to shop around in terms of like looking for an electrician to install, whatever you need to install to get your charger, up and running, because some electrical companies will charge others versus other companies, where we found out that if we called around, we found a much more affordable option with the same amount of quality versus one that was going to charge us like 3 times more. So just be mindful. Yeah. There's other companies out there, but sometimes they don't perform as well as you need them to. Yeah.
That's actually a great point. Probably a good thing to wrap up on here is the initial quote we got for this work was like close to $10,000. So
jeez.
Just by calling a second person, we saved half of our money. So, I mean, if it were going to cost that much, we wouldn't have done it. Like we would have found something else to do or some other route to go for charging or getting the electrical redone. So definitely echo those remarks. Definitely shop around, see what other options are out there for electricians, because all of them kind of have their own rates and how they calculate things. So
always shop around.
Definitely. Yeah. So,
well, I will say the one part of podcasting that I did forget is how to do an outro. I feel like I've done so many YouTube videos. I'm like and
we're not just cutting it here.
What'd you say?
We're not just cutting it here.
Right. Well, I am excited to come check out the new house and get a chance to charge my car off of this nice new service that you're going to be offering. It'll probably be on Yelp, so check that out. I'll be the only review. Actually, hey, now I could sleep in... Well, actually, no, if it's an alleyway, I'm not sure how that would work. But I was going to say, now I could sleep in your driveway.
Sleep in my garage or on the street, even better.
Yeah, right.
Like, the police pull up. Person. Yeah.
The police pull up. It's like, hey. Anyway, so I think that's a good outro, but definitely. It's good to be back, and thank you guys for continuing to support Living Electric. I hope you guys enjoyed the recharge episodes, because I think that was a very clever title, so that's props to Alex.
Definitely. Yeah, so we may do that time to time. I don't think we address that at all. Is like if we're off a week, we're gonna try to at least post something like some of our old content to re-listen to or listen to for the first time. Because I mean, we've got a decent backlog now of episodes that I don't think a lot of our new listeners have heard. So
Yeah.
look out for those as well. But that'll do it. We'll talk to you in the next episode.